Welcome to this edition of the President's Corner with Parallel Employment Group. Today our guest is Tom Hamm. Tom is our IT manager. Within the leadership team, Tom is what we would consider a recent hire, although he's been with us almost 3 years. Tom has been a tremendous addition. And I know that our CFO, who he reports to, Renee T. Devine, considers him a tremendous asset that allows her to sleep at night. Tom, if you could just give us kind of a rundown of your general role with the company.
Sure. Basically, I manage the IT infrastructure for corporate and all of our branch offices. The team basically consists of myself, and we have 2 technicians and an engineer. And we basically do all the support for IT across everything.
Okay, great. With the rise in cyber threats, how has cybersecurity changed in recent years? And I should preface, in today's world, I don't have to explain, how important cybersecurity is. Every business in the world is facing this threat. And there's a lot of outside malicious players that are trying to access your system. So with that, how has cybersecurity changed in recent years?
Sure. I've been in IT for a long time, and just the past maybe up to 10 years, things have really gotten a lot more intense. The bad actors have gotten smarter. They're utilizing more intelligent tools. Now with AI, it's even getting worse. So we've had to become more aggressive on our protection of the systems to basically coincide with their attacking. So, but the fabric itself, it's essentially the same. I mean, it's the same way as things we're getting in, but we're implementing new tools to keep up with their new tools, to stay in touch with them.
Okay, great. It seems to me, Tom, that anytime an organization has experienced a hack and you read about it, the vast majority of those hacks occurred through a phishing email that organization's employee fell for.
Right.
So my question is, how can employees recognize phishing emails or suspicious online activity?
Sure. Some of the most prevalent signatures of phishing emails will be basically misspelled word in it. Obviously, if it's unsolicited, those are one of the things you want to look at. If there's a link in it, an embedded link, or something that looks just odd, something you weren't expecting, they're expecting you to click on this thing, and it just looks odd. It's basically just be very vigilant. Hover your mouse over the actual link. If it's not going to where, if it's going to some long string of URL, most likely it's a phish, and it's going to a bad place. So they have to be just very cautious with that.
I know with our system we have a filter,
Mm-hmm.
and thousands of emails are being filtered out that never get to the
Correct.
employee, but yet our employees still have to have access to be able to do their job to our system.
That's correct.
So how challenging is that to kind of regulate how strict, I guess I would say, the filter is?
We're currently using an outside filter service, and last month I actually checked before I came in here, 93% of the emails coming into our domain are spam or phishing are being blocked.
Wow.
Just keep everything in perspective that way. But there are some that do get through. So we need to make sure that our employees are comfortable and educated enough where they can see they recognize an email and say, hey, this is an insider, this is an outside bad email.
Okay. So in your 2.5 years that you've been here, as you said, with the training program that we have, with the constant, and it is constant, it's not like they go through it and it's over. It is a constant training program. Have you seen a difference in our employees' understanding and recognition?
Absolutely, yeah. It's an ongoing training program. Every month we put a new course or courses into play. 15 minutes, not much longer than that for each one. But yeah, we've seen a dramatic drop in the actual clicking of bad emails. And we do active testing also. So about once a quarter, we'll send out some emails from the system, and if the person clicks on the link, basically what the emails they'll have obviously signatures of a phishing email. And if they click on the link, then they're registered, and we take those metrics and I report them up to your team, and we take it from there. But those statistics have gone way down over the past year and a half.
That's great. We're obviously focusing on protection and security for our business, although there's also things people need to be aware of in their personal life, their own personal information or financial information, etc. what are some everyday habits our employees can adopt to protect themselves online? Like I said, not just at work, but at home.
Sure, the biggest one is just be vigilant. Understand where you're going, understand what you're clicking on. Don't be distracted by, the fancy ads and all this, because that's what the bad actors are relying on, that fact, that you're just gonna click on a link and go from there. If there's ever a time when you're being asked for personal information, whether it be, birthday, anything, and you're not specifically going to an organization that's asking for that, stop. That's suspicious. Don't go anywhere from there. When you're doing searching, don't click on the first link. That first couple links, especially in Google, those are being sponsored, and anybody can grab those. So in other words, if you're searching for Microsoft and you click on the first link, Microsoft support, you click on the first link, it's probably not going to Microsoft. It's probably going to a bad actor who's simulating themselves as Microsoft, and they're going to try to sell you a product or try to scam you out of something. So just be very vigilant, especially when you're online doing shopping, those types of things. Make sure you're actually on the right spot. And if something looks suspicious, stop, back out, and actually type in where you want to go to make sure you have the right
How
information.
important is it for things like dual authentication, especially with your banking,
Yes.
information, etc.?
Enable multi-factor on everything you can. Most people now, they actually do support it. If they do support it, opt in. Set up multi-factor authentication. It's the easiest way to kind of curb most of the stuff.
How concerned should I be if there's a financial resource that I use in my life that doesn't have multi-factor?
I'd be very concerned. I would address it with them, go to them, say, hey, why don't you have some kind of system set up where you don't have multi-factor? And if they don't this time of day, these days, there's no reason why they shouldn't. And I would move institutions, to be perfectly honest with you.
Thank you. We obviously still do have our own systems and networks. What steps does the IT team take to ensure that our systems are secure from outside attack?
We basically have firewalls that we have put up in the perimeter to stop any bad traffic from coming into the system. We also have phishing and spam filters placed out hopefully stop all the bad emails that are coming into the system. We have endpoint protection mode on all of our workstations. We also have, from the internal side of the house, is an IDS system, which is a passive intruder detection system, which monitors the traffic throughout the network constantly all day long and triggers us if it sees any suspicious activity.
Okay, great. In our industry, there's always a lot of concern. We have a lot of personal information. We have addresses, phone numbers, and the big one, social security numbers. How does Parallel ensure the security of sensitive employee information?
Well, the one good thing, over the past year and a half, we've made a lot of changes. We've moved a lot of our data off of our internal systems and moved them off to our partners. So all the personal information that we have online or internal is not anything that's PII. All the PII information is saved over in our ETS, which is an online service, and we really don't have any responsibilities for that. It's all over to them, which they are SOC 2 certified, and they have the certifications for their data center and their systems. But with the stuff we do have here, very minimum. Basically, it's permissions. Least permission is our goal. So.
Okay, great. We talked just a bit ago about what people can do in their personal lives or their own security as far as more habits. But what resources would you recommend for those who want to improve their online safety habits? Because I know there's outside tools that people can use.
Right. I mean, obviously the big one is antivirus. Make sure you have antivirus, whether it's a Windows machine or an Apple machine. That's the first line of defense against anything that's going to be happening personally. The other thing is use unique passwords. And when I say unique passwords, I mean unique passwords for every site. So every different site or every different entity that you have passwords for, it is a different password. That way, if one is compromised, your entire system isn't compromised. Multi-factor, we talked a little earlier about that. Make sure you have multi-factor on any online resource. There's no reason why you shouldn't. And again, if you don't have the opportunity to do that, change resources.
Yeah.
You really have to at this point. And then the final thing, basically, is just be vigilant. You have to understand where you're going and what you're sending and what information you're providing. That's one of the biggest things.
Okay. With this in mind, is there one piece of advice you'd give to those who want to improve their online security?
I would say just be very vigilant and understand exactly what information you're providing and who you're providing it to. Make sure that when you click on something, you're actually going to where you're going. And just assume with all the hacks and everything that's been going on for the past 2 years, 3 years, that your information is already compromised. Don't supplement that information by volunteering getting out more information.
So basically, it really is anytime you are online, regardless of why, don't ever stop thinking about cybersecurity.
Essentially, yeah. And I don't want to scare you saying, it's a dangerous place. The web and social media, it all can be navigated safely.
It's probably okay to be a little scared.
It can all be navigated safely. You just have to be aware and never put your guard down. Always assume somebody's out there to grab something from you.
Right. I know in talking to you, Tom, you have a lot of interest outside of work. There's hobbies that you enjoy. If you could just talk a little bit about that, because some of them I find to be pretty fascinating.
Sure. Well, I'm an amateur radio operator.
Tom Hamm, Ham Radio.
So I'm basically the co-leader of the Waukesha County Areas. Basically, that's for the emergency radio service. So if there's any issues, tornadoes or things like that, we usually respond to those types of things.
Oh, wow. I did not know that.
So, yeah. Then I'm also a pilot, so I haven't actually been up in a while, but my kids have been costing me some money. But I've been flying. Actually, I was flying before I was driving.
I knew that. And your son's a commercial pilot.
My son's a commercial. He flies for Republic.
Yeah.
That's correct. And my other son, he drives underwater vehicles. So.
I just will reiterate that we are incredibly fortunate to have Tom and his entire team. From an IT, everything you do in business today is related to your technology. You can't do anything that isn't connected to your tech. And so to have a strong IT department is imperative. And we feel that we are really blessed right now because we have such a strong team, and the leadership that Tom has provided has made such a big difference. And as I said, I just know how valued Tom is by everybody within the company. And as I said, Renee T. Devine is sleeping much better at night. So Tom, thank you so much for joining us.
And I'd like to say something also, because one of the most important things about information security is the senior management. And you guys have been very supportive, and I know that it's very important to you, and it makes my job a lot easier having that support behind us.
Yeah, thanks.